Most men rarely admit it, but the woman who lingers in their thoughts at night isn't necessarily the youngest or the flashiest. It's often the older woman who moves with the confidence of someone who already knows the outcome. When she does 4 particular things, 4 subtle behaviors, she triggers something in a man's mind that he can't turn off. You've seen it before. A man who usually appears logical, composed, and unemotional suddenly becomes inconsistent, intrigued, even a little obsessed. You find yourself asking, why her? Why does she stand out so naturally? The first of these behaviors is slowing down. At first glance, it may seem almost trivial, but it's one of the most powerful subconscious cues older women create without effort. Men notice pacing before they notice beauty. They might not consciously dissect it, but a slower, deliberate presence signals control and self-possession. She isn't rushing, she isn't chasing, she isn't acting out of fear. She responds when she chooses to, not because circumstances demand it. That alone establishes a new dynamic that men are unaccustomed to. Most interactions are hurried, driven by nervous energy, insecurity, or fear of missing a moment. When she slows her movements, her speech, and her emotional responses, she becomes instantly memorable. A man suddenly encounters someone centered, someone not reliant on his validation to feel complete. That contrast, subtle yet palpable, pulls him in. Silence becomes meaningful. Pauses carry weight. When she takes her time responding, he wonders what she is thinking. When she doesn't rush decisions, he senses depth. When she listens fully without interrupting, he feels acknowledged rather than judged. Each moment she slows down becomes a psychological mirror, reflecting the chaos and impulsiveness most of his interactions usually carry. He experiences the difference, and it's this difference that captures his attention. It isn't about manipulation or playing games. It's about intentional efficiency. She conserves her energy and uses it thoughtfully. Men subconsciously respect those who manage their time and energy wisely. Slowing down conveys that she has standards. Rapid reactions often stem from scarcity, anxiety, or the urge to please. Deliberate responses reveal abundance and self-assurance. A man instinctively recognizes that a woman who remains calm under pressure has lived, learned, and trusts herself. She doesn't feel the need to rush because losing him isn't her concern. Losing herself is. Her measured pace communicates discernment, intentionality, and a self-contained power that men find magnetic. The second behavior is setting boundaries effortlessly. Here, older women diverge sharply from the rest. Many people hear boundaries and imagine rigid rules, harshness, or unnecessary drama, but she operates differently. She sets limits like closing a window to keep out the rain, simply confidently, without over-explaining. Men notice the contrast immediately. Younger women often hesitate to say no, fearing rejection. Older women say no because they prioritize their peace over accommodating someone who hasn't earned their space. This quiet authority is compelling. It forces men to step up instead of taking her for granted. Her boundaries are not delivered with raised voices or long-winded explanations. She communicates calmly, but her message is unmistakable. The mix of gentleness and firmness is rare and irresistible. Boundaries also clarify expectations, giving men a sense of stability they rarely encounter. He understands precisely where he stands, which fosters trust and respect. Boundaries indicate self-worth. Men realize shortcuts won't work, bare minimum efforts won't suffice. He must be intentional, consistent, and genuine. She models the standard of behavior she expects without argument, and he rises to meet it. Most importantly, these boundaries reveal that she isn't worried about losing him. She's focused on preserving herself. Her self-respect becomes unforgettable. She says yes only when it feels right, creating a clarity in attraction that's rare and powerful. The third behavior is maintaining emotional stability. This quality enhances her magnetic presence effortlessly. Emotional stability doesn't equate to coldness or lack of feeling. It means experiencing emotions fully without letting them control reactions or spill chaotically. Men notice this immediately because much of their daily interaction involves emotional unpredictability, encountering a woman whose feelings flow steadily rather than eruptively conveys safety. Safety is unexpectedly alluring. It softens ego, lowers defenses, and invites connection. She doesn't react to trivial matters or jump to conclusions. She doesn't personalize every interaction. She knows how to pause before responding and to let unworthy issues pass. This stability doesn't make her passive, it makes her powerful. Men quickly learn they cannot manipulate her with games, silence, or confusion. She neither chases nor panics. She remains centered, which causes men to adjust themselves rather than pull her into their emotional storms. What captivates them most is her understanding of her emotions. If something bothers her, she communicates clearly instead of exploding. If disappointed, she expresses it without blame. If she needs space, she requests it without punishment. Her emotions are orderly, creating a grounding presence for men often surrounded by chaos. Stability signals maturity, calm, and clarity, making her profoundly attractive. Men relax around her, open up, and even reveal vulnerabilities without fear. Her presence becomes a haven, a relief from stress, tension, and confusion. The fourth behavior is something younger women seldom master, and it drives men wild in a captivating way. She does not seek to impress. Her allure is not in forced confidence, flashy achievements, or superficial displays. She exudes quiet certainty. That self-assuredness draws attention immediately. She isn't performing or molding herself to fit his preferences. She doesn't prove her value, she already believes in it. This conviction alters the dynamic completely. Men are hardwired to pursue what is independent, self-contained, and confident. When she isn't seeking approval, he finds himself seeking hers instead. She doesn't overshare or reveal her entire life at once. She unfolds gradually, layer by layer, fostering curiosity and fascination. The slow reveal, combined with intentional restraint, makes her a rare, almost unforgettable presence. Men become invested in discovering her world, compelled to understand her depth. She focuses on her routines, passions, habits, work, and personal growth. She isn't idle, waiting for his attention, or obsessing over his perceptions. She aligns with her life and priorities, which intensifies attraction without effort. Her independence, emotional control, clarity, and self-assurance establish a presence that lingers in the mind, prompting fascination and consistent thought. It's not about the dramatic or flashy, it's the quiet mastery of life, the poised confidence, and the deliberate choices that make her magnetic. This combination of slowing down, setting clear boundaries, maintaining emotional stability, and living with unwavering self-belief crafts a woman who is unforgettable. Men notice it even if they can't immediately articulate why. Each quality subtly signals strength, maturity, and confidence. The result is an irresistible allure rooted in authenticity rather than superficial effort. She operates from a place of clarity and self-respect. She is deliberate, composed, and intentional, creating a magnetic presence that captures attention and keeps it. Men find themselves drawn in, intrigued, and invested because these behaviors cultivate respect, curiosity, and fascination simultaneously. Every slow movement, every calm response, every boundary communicated without drama, and every unshakable display of self-confidence generates a mental pull that is hard to resist. These are not tactics or strategies, they are natural extensions of experience, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. A man encountering such a woman feels challenged yet safe, curious yet grounded, and compelled to rise to match her presence. The power she exudes is subtle but profound, shaping interactions in ways that feel effortless. Attraction grows naturally in response to her measured pace, clear boundaries, emotional composure, and quiet certainty. She doesn't chase, she doesn't panic, and she doesn't perform. She lives deliberately, prioritizes herself, and moves with intention. The slower pace of her words and actions makes men pay attention, heightening their awareness of her presence. Her boundaries set the stage for respect and effort. Emotional stability fosters trust and safety. Self-assured independence triggers intrigue and pursuit. Together, these behaviors form a magnetic framework that lingers in a man's mind. What seems simple or subtle is actually a profound orchestration of presence, energy, and influence. Men can't help but notice. They respond, often unconsciously, to the rhythm of her confidence. Each interaction with her becomes a study in balance and poise. Her steadiness contrasts with the chaotic energy they usually encounter, and that contrast is compelling. It invites curiosity, admiration, and consistent attention. By embodying these behaviors naturally, she becomes not only memorable, but almost indispensable in the mind of a man who values authenticity, confidence, and intentionality. This is not about manipulation or control. It is about living authentically, setting standards, managing energy wisely, and cultivating a presence that resonates deeply. Slowing down, establishing boundaries, maintaining emotional equilibrium, and demonstrating unshakable self-belief create a magnetic effect that is impossible to ignore. The power of slowing down, enforcing boundaries, staying emotionally stable, and embodying self-assured independence is cumulative. Each reinforces the other, producing a synergy that amplifies attraction. Men respond instinctively to these cues, drawn into a space of respect, curiosity, and fascination. The effect is organic, subtle, and profoundly magnetic. Her presence isn't about the fleeting or superficial. It is about living deliberately, maintaining clarity, and embodying self-respect. These behaviors, repeated consistently, create a magnetic effect that lingers in a man's mind. They convey maturity, authenticity, and intentionality, setting her apart in a way that is rare, compelling, and unforgettable. Men cannot help but notice her deliberate pace, clear boundaries, emotional steadiness, and confident independence generate fascination, curiosity, and engagement. These behaviors operate naturally, effortlessly shaping perception, attraction, and attention. They create a dynamic where her presence is magnetic, memorable, and profoundly influential. And instead of frustrating him, it inspires him. He wants to be part of her world because she doesn't invite him in out of desperation. She welcomes him in through value and presence. Men pursue what feels meaningful. Men invest in what feels deliberate. Men commit to what feels unique. When she isn't trying to impress him, he starts noticing the small things she doesn't even realize are captivating. The way she speaks with confidence, the calm in her tone, the thoughtfulness in her replies, and the way she carries herself when no one is watching. Men become fascinated by her authenticity. She never tries to fabricate it. He sees her as someone he must earn, someone he must rise to, someone he must genuinely engage with. Her lack of overt effort becomes the ultimate form of effort because it communicates that she is not competing with anyone. She is not desperate for attention. She doesn't replace her worth with performance. She simply exists as herself. And in a world full of noise, a woman who is naturally comfortable in her own skin becomes unforgettable. Another aspect is that older women are extremely mindful of their energy, and men perceive this immediately without her having to utter a single word. Energy mindfulness does not mean she is distant or cold. It signifies that she no longer squanders her emotional or mental power on things that don't don't matter. She has experienced enough life to understand what drains her, what distracts her, and what truly deserves her attention. Men sense this almost viscerally. She isn't scattered. She isn't chaotic. She doesn't try to be everywhere at once. Her focus is precise. Her priorities are unmistakable, and her presence feels intentional rather than accidental. This distinction makes her stand out because most people dissipate energy through overthinking, over-explaining, overreacting, or over-committing. She doesn't get drawn into unnecessary conversations. She avoids drama as a source of entertainment. She doesn't respond to every attempt at grabbing her attention. She acts with purpose, and purpose inherently generates attraction because it signals strength. A man recognizes that her time is valuable, not because she states it, but because her actions consistently demonstrate it. She doesn't reply instantly to every message, not as a game, but because her life is filled with things that genuinely matter to her. She doesn't chase those who distance themselves, knowing that pursuit is exhausting and pointless. She doesn't debate trivialities that don't advance her life. She safeguards her energy with quiet discipline. Men are drawn to this because it differentiates her from those who react emotionally to everything. She introduces order to chaos without trying to control it. Her energy is consistent rather than scattered, which makes a man feel grounded just by being near her. He begins to value her attention more because it's evident she doesn't offer it lightly. He chooses his words carefully because he senses she won't entertain nonsense. He acts with intention because he knows she won't tolerate confusion or half-hearted effort. Her energy efficiency signals that her inner world is well managed. She isn't running on empty. She isn't overwhelmed. She isn't seeking validation. She prioritizes her peace, her comfort, her routines, and her ambitions. And when a woman protects her energy with such mindfulness, she becomes magnetic. Men feel as though they are engaging with someone who has depth and emotional intelligence, not someone acting from insecurity. She becomes the calm in a noisy world, and that calm is unforgettable. Another key factor is that older women create mental clarity for men, which is often overlooked but tremendously powerful in attraction. Men are constantly surrounded by noise, work pressures, mixed signals, expectations, responsibilities, and social distractions. Most interactions only amplify that noise. But when a man encounters an older woman who brings clarity rather than confusion, his nervous system responds. She isn't just appealing, she becomes a form of emotional relief. Her presence cuts through the mental clutter he carries. That clarity becomes something he unconsciously seeks more and more, almost like oxygen. She communicates directly yet warmly. She doesn't play games or send hidden messages. There's no need for him to decode her intentions. She speaks openly about her thoughts and desires and expresses her expectations without manipulation. Men find this refreshing because it reduces the mental strain that comes with unclear communication. Her honesty isn't harsh, it is grounding. She listens in a way that organizes his thoughts rather than overwhelming him. When he speaks, she doesn't interrupt with assumptions or emotional reactions. She allows him to finish and takes time to respond thoughtfully. Her clarity makes him think more lucidly and opens him to sharing because he feels safe. He communicates more authentically because she doesn't turn conversations into conflicts. He trusts her because she listens without judgment. Her clarity becomes a source of emotional stability he didn't realize he needed. She makes decisions decisively. If interested, she shows it. If not, she doesn't lead him on. If something bothers her, she addresses it promptly instead of letting resentment fester. This level of emotional accountability fosters an environment where misunderstandings don't escalate into unnecessary arguments. Men associate her with ease, comfort, and emotional maturity, making her unforgettable. Her clarity extends to how she presents herself. She doesn't seek validation to define her identity. She doesn't rely on attention to feel worthy. She doesn't alter her personality to align with his preferences. Her certainty anchors a man. He feels he has finally found someone who removes confusion rather than adds it. When a woman brings clarity to his life, she becomes someone he cannot afford to lose. Clarity is not merely attractive, it is addictive. Another quality is authenticity, which older women exude naturally, profoundly affecting men because it is so rare. Authenticity doesn't mean being loud, flashy, or attention-seeking. It means living fully aligned with her values and desires without pretending, overcompensating, or conforming to societal or individual expectations. Men instinctively recognize authenticity because it signals truth. An authentic woman removes guesswork and manipulation. This sparks fascination and, over time, obsession because most people mask their true selves, and authenticity disrupts that pattern. She doesn't change her behavior to please a man. She behaves consistently in all areas of her life. She laughs genuinely, pauses thoughtfully, and communicates openly without games. Men notice these subtle signals: the tone of her voice, the ease in her movements, and the unshakable authenticity she embodies. There is no pretense, no manufactured charm. She simply exists fully as herself. Men are drawn to this because they understand on a deep level that someone so grounded is not only attractive, but rare, valuable, and trustworthy. Her authenticity also encourages him to be genuine. He feels safe showing his true self because she doesn't judge or manipulate. He doesn't have to hide behind ego or performance. This dynamic fosters honesty and vulnerability, which are almost entirely absent in daily interactions. Her authenticity mirrors acceptance, making her presence unforgettable. Authenticity also signals independence. Men perceive that she doesn't rely on them for validation. She lives according to her principles and priorities, which grants her a quiet authority that naturally commands respect and desire. Men are drawn to people who operate on their own terms because it challenges them to rise to a higher standard. Her self-contained authenticity sparks curiosity, investment, and fascination. Men want to understand her, connect with her, and earn her trust, not because she demands it, but because she inspires it. In a world dominated by masks, she stands out and men notice. Older women also awaken a man's inner drive, which is a subtle yet powerful form of attraction. Men are wired to respond to challenges that feel meaningful. When a woman radiates focus, purpose, and commitment, it naturally ignites that drive. She isn't creating pressure or competition. She is simply living fully in her world, pursuing her goals, and embracing her passions. A man observes this and instinctively wants to rise to her level, not because she demands it, but because her presence highlights what he could become. She sets a standard without stating it, and men are drawn to standards that are demonstrated rather than declared. She doesn't nag, pressure, or manipulate. She doesn't need him to prove himself or justify her choices. Her energy alone inspires him to step up voluntarily.